Hello and welcome to the Soul Spark Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Collins. I am a yoga teacher, spiritual coach, and woman on a mission to help raise the collective consciousness through grounded mindfulness practices, movement, deep healing, and reconnecting to the feminine energy. I've created this podcast to inspire you to reconnect with your sense of self, live with purpose and greater abundance, and manifest a life that feels balanced, flowing, and fulfilling. So press play and join me every Wednesday to spark that fire in your soul, get lit up from the inside out, and reignite your passion for life. Hello, everyone. Hope you liked that little kickoff with my heart chakra sound bowl. I hope you're doing amazing wherever you are. I've taken the last couple of weeks off just to focus on other things, I guess. Time has been something that has been very filled up in my life as I plan the next Year of You, which is going to be January 6th through the 9th. And if you're not familiar with Year of You, it's a 4-day virtual retreat. I've done a Year of You every year for the last 4 years, and this is going to be the second virtual retreat. We're going to be ending it with an in-person class and mini event as well. So if you are looking for a way to start off your year, getting connected to yourself, learning from different teachers about how to enhance your wellness, mind, body, and soul, and really step into what we're going to talk about today, your Dharma, your purpose, your authentic empowerment, then this event's for you. And again, it's free. There's also a donation option, and all donations are going to a really incredible San Diego-based nonprofit called the Center for Community Solutions. And we worked with them in the last 2 Year of You events. They are really amazing. They're working to end relationship and sexual violence through being a catalyst for caring communities and social justice. So I feel like, these topics have been really prevalent lately, but they always are. Domestic violence has increased since the pandemic began. So it's really important that we are conscious of the fact that this is going on around us, whether or not we realize it, and taking a stand to make sure the women, children, and men who are suffering from violence are getting help and getting protected as much as humanly possible. So really excited to be working with them, and I hope you guys sign up and join us. We're going to have 21 recordings that will be posted over the 4 days, as well as 16 live classes, workshops, and talks over that time with a broad range of topics from, yoga to meditation and Reiki to nutrition to fitness classes, human design. We're going to talk about and do breath work. We'll talk about cacao and even have a little live cacao ceremony with my beautiful friend Justice. There's just so much that's going to be, we'll have channeled messages, so many things. So I hope you guys will join us. And, if you listen to this podcast, this event is definitely for you. And I'm going to talk today about Dharma, and this event is such an extension of my Dharma. And part of my Dharma is helping you guys find yours. Dharma, Dharma, Dharma. um, Year of You, I want to talk about this a little bit more because Year of You, to me, what this event means is, or let me rephrase that, what the term Year of You means is a year where you step into your authenticness, you embrace your uniqueness, you embrace your gifts, and you let go of what isn't, part of your soul's past. You let go of the shoulding, doing things that you've been conditioned to think that you should be doing, when in reality, maybe they don't actually align with your soul's desires and your soul's path and what your soul decided they wanted to bring into this life, to give back and to make the world a better place. So, Year of You, it's where we step into our authenticness. We step into our personal power. It is not all rainbows and butterflies, but when we recognize the ripple that we have on the world, and we recognize that by accepting ourselves in our entirety, our strengths, our struggles, our uniqueness, when we honor ourselves and shift our focus to one of service, we create this powerful ripple that can truly change the world. And when we do that, when we honor ourselves, we don't have to worry about the quote unquote abundance of money, love, all of that, because that comes naturally. That comes with stepping into our power. Like, we don't have to worry about abundance, because when we shift our focus to one of honoring our gifts, bringing our talents to the world and helping others, all of that comes. So that's what the Year of You is. The Year of You is exactly that. Letting go of, what isn't serving you, what maybe you've been conditioned to believe you should be doing with your life, and honoring the gifts that you have brought into this world. Because as we're about to talk about, you have gifts that no one else has. You might think you have the same gift as someone else, but you have a unique way of expressing it that makes you better at that than anyone else in the entire world, anyone else walking on this planet. And there are people, kind of like I was talking about this with a friend the other day. It's like a radio signal. Like, there are people that are naturally going to be tuned into your radio signal, not someone else's. So, right, I'm a spiritual coach. How many other spiritual coaches are there out there? A ton, right? But my frequency that I put out, there's certain people that tune into that frequency, and those are my people. And those are the people that, my way of expressing, being a teacher, my way of talking, my way of communicating, that speaks to them. And that's going to help them. And there's my ripple. And here we are. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I recently read the book, The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success by Deepak Chopra. And it gave me so much inspiration for doing another episode on Dharma, which, Dharma is your purpose, right? So we've talked about this on the podcast a lot, but we're going into the new year, right? And this is always this like beautiful chance to feel like we're kind of having a fresh start. I also like to think of my birthday every year as like a fresh start time, but this is a collective time of a fresh start. And it's a great time to start thinking about your Dharma, your purpose, and how you can bring those unique gifts into the world to help change the world. Because there's a reason we're all different, right? We're not all meant to be the same. If we were all the same, the world wouldn't work, right? It's like saying we should all be hunters without having gatherers. right? If you have the hunter but no gatherer, you'll get the meat sometimes, occasionally, but you're not going to have the nuts and the fruits and the vegetables and the plant foods that are going to give you all those vital vitamins and minerals that sustain you between those hunting periods. I don't know why I'm going back to caveman times, but you guys get the point. So anyway, this book, The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success, I highly, highly, highly recommend reading it. Most definitely going to add it to my Soul Spark Academy book list that I have for all of my Soul Spark clients. But yeah, so before we get started, I just want to invite you guys to sign up for Year of You if you haven't already. I'm going to link that in the show notes so you can find it easily. Go to the webpage. You can see all of the incredible speakers we have. We're going to do a big giveaway. All the speakers are giving freebies. So there's just so much that's included in this event. To click the link to sign up for that if you haven't already. And if you're busy during the time of the event, have no fear. The content, all of it, including the live content recordings, will be available for 2 weeks after the event. So you have time to consume all of it because it's a lot. There's literally going to be 37 recordings so far. Who knows? We might add more. And yeah, so with that, let's talk a little bit more about Dharma. So as I mentioned, Dharma is purpose, right? Every single person walking this planet, every human being that's ever walked this planet and ever will has a purpose in life. They have a unique gift or a special talent to give to others. And when we blend this unique talent with service to others, we get to experience the ecstasy, the bliss of our soul, which is truly the goal of life, right? I mean, there's multiple goals. Like, why do we come into this human existence? Why, if we're souls in the spirit world, living free from pain and suffering, like, why do we choose to come here, walk around in these meat suits and deal with all the drama of life, right? It's so that we can grow and evolve as souls. And so we can grow and evolve as that collective source energy. We come into these lives with these beautiful gifts that some of us get to really experience and some of us don't. And a huge part of that is whether or not those gifts are, nurtured when we are children. And there's so much conditioning, and it's not even just conditioning of like our parents that goes into how they condition us. It's ancestral, right? It goes back, way, way, way back. So we pick up what we are taught is good and bad and acceptable and lovable and all of that stuff, So if our gifts are nurtured when we're a child, we might be more likely to embrace them and to start sharing them with the world. We still might not, but we're more likely to. And if they're not embraced, if they're like shunned, right? If our parents are like, you need to be a doctor, when in reality, our passion is to paint, like splatter paint on canvases, right? We're going to shut down that artistic painter side of ourselves, and we're going to start probably striving towards being a doctor and doing this very, more logical, studious type of career. So, and maybe not, right? But my point is, if our talents are embraced when we are children, we might be more likely to recognize them early on. So yeah, I just got off on a tangent rambling, but we all have these special gifts that we are meant to share with the world. And guess what? If you haven't figured out what yours is yet, or maybe you do know what it is, but you realize you haven't been living in alignment with that, that's okay. No matter where you are at in your life, you can start right here, right now. So we're here in these meat suits having this human experience so that we can share these gifts with the world, so we can help one another, we can grow as souls, we can learn lessons, right? We also have karmic lessons that we come into this life with to learn. And, I think people often confuse karma with dharma, right? Karma is the principle or the idea that every thought, word, action that we have has a ripple effect, has this like boomerang effect, and it comes back to us. So we carry karma with us from past lives, if that's what you believe in. But we also carry karma with us from past thoughts, words, and actions that we've had in this life. And so sometimes when you find that you are experiencing a limiting belief that keeps, popping up, you keep having to peel back the layers. Maybe it's a limiting belief or a type of situation or experience or person. That might be your karma. Like you're having to work through it. You're having to learn something from it. So that's karma. Dharma is we come into this life with these gifts that we are meant to share to grow and evolve as souls and to grow and evolve as a collective. So in the 7 laws for spiritual success, one of the laws is the law of Dharma. And I just love, love, love how he put this. So I'm going to read it word for word to you. The law of Dharma states that we have taken manifestation in physical form to fulfill a purpose. The field of pure potentiality is divinity in its essence, and the divine takes human form to fulfill a purpose. According to this law, you have a unique talent and a unique way of expressing it. There is something you can do better than anyone else in the entire world. And for every unique talent and unique expression of that talent, there are unique needs. When these needs are matched with the creative expression of your talent, that is the spark that creates affluence. Expressing your talents to fulfill a need creates unlimited wealth and abundance. So this is what I was talking about before. This is like, if I could have said it better myself, this is year of you in one sentence, right? Like we have this field of pure potentiality around us. That is, the field of quantum energy where we manifest what we do or we do not want into reality. And to access that field of pure potentiality and get all of the abundance that is readily available to you right now, all you have to do is uncover your unique talent and your unique way of expressing it, and then set the intention to use that gift to serve the world, and everything else is going to fall into place. It's such a simple yet powerful concept, right? Like, it's amazing. So I'll get into that a little bit more. But yeah, so also in the book, he names 3 components of the law of Dharma. So some of this will be a little repetitive, but I'll go through those. So the first one is that 1, each of us is here to discover our true self, to remember our divinity, to find out for ourselves that there is a little god or goddess inside of us that wants to be born so that we can express our divinity, right? All we have to do really is to remember, right? We like come into these lives, and the moment we're born, we forget. We forget everything. We forget why we came here, the gifts that we brought in. We forget the karma that we're here to heal. We forget that we are divine beings. Like, if you believe in oneness, if you believe that we all come from the same source, if you believe in a higher power, God, the universe, whoever that is to you, if we are all one, and if we come from this higher power, we are divine. We are like, we literally have everything we need to know inside of us. We have everything we could want at our fingertips. We just literally have to remember. And remembering is not easy, right? Like we have, again, so much conditioning, not only from this life, but from past lives and from ancestral stuff. Like there's a lot. And part of what we're here to do too is to heal. And part of what we're here to do is to go on that journey of remembrance, to remember our divinity. So the first thing you can do is to carve out time for yourself every day to sit in stillness and get quiet so that you can connect with that divine part of yourself. Okay, we are so inundated by outside noise. I've said this a million times, probably on the podcast to my clients. There's so much noise going on around us, whether it's social media or the news or TV or even music. Like I love music, and music, it to me is a spiritual experience in itself. But when we just sit quiet, you can sit outside, you can sit in a room. When you sit and get quiet and let your mind do its thing, become aware of your thoughts, eventually the mind does get a little bit quieter. And that's when you can really connect with your higher self. You can hear, you can feel, you can see. You can really harness that connection and that remembrance. So yeah, that's number one of the three components. Each of us is here to discover our true self. Number two is to express our unique talents. Here we go again. So remembering that there is one thing you can do, and there's one way of doing it that is better than anyone else on the planet. And when you're doing it, you'll know that it's the thing, because that's when you lose track of time. That's when you go into a flow state, right? That's when you go into this like timeless awareness. We've all experienced it. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's running, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's doing numbers, like doing math, right? It can literally be anything that you do that brings you into a flow state is your Dharma. It's your unique talent. That's why it's hard for us to get into that timeless awareness. It's not simple, especially again, when we're living in a world where we're all conditioned that we should be functioning 100% all the time and going to work and taking care of bills and doing adult things and so on and so forth. So many of us never even get into that state of flow unless we're intentional about it. So that's number two, to express your unique talent. And the way that you're going to know it's your unique talent is because when you do it, you lose track of time. You get into that flow state, that timeless awareness, and nothing else matters. And then the third component is service to humanity. So to serve your fellow human beings. When you combine the ability to express your unique talents with service to humanity, then you're making full use of this law of Dharma. And in the book, he says that coupled with the experience of your own spirituality, the field of pure potentiality, there is no way that you will not have access to infinite abundance, because that is the way real abundance is achieved. So again, shift your thinking. Instead of asking, what's in it for me? Ask, how can I help? How can I serve the world? How can I help all those that I come into contact with? Right? So this can be hard for us. Our egos, they really want to protect us and keep us safe and make sure we have food and water and shelter and all the things. But if every time we notice ourselves getting caught up in what we want and what we don't have, if we can stop, be aware of it, don't judge it, no judgment needed, just notice it, And then say, okay, actually, who can I serve? How can I serve? How can I help? What can I do today to make the world a better place? When we can begin to shift that mindset and do it on a regular basis, it becomes this new neural pathway where we automatically start thinking about how can we serve versus what do I need? What do I want? And when we're in that state of serving others, we're in a state of infinite abundance, and we don't need to worry about all those wants because it's going to come to us naturally. So he also gives some commitments. So I want to read these commitments to you guys, and I want you to repeat them after me. Little affirmations, okay? So number 1, I am going to seek my higher self, which is beyond my ego, through spiritual practice. Number 2, I am going to discover my unique talents. And finding my unique talents, I am going to enjoy myself, because the process of enjoyment occurs when I go into timeless awareness. That's when I'm in a state of bliss. And the third commitment, I'm going to ask myself how I am best suited to serve humanity. I am going to answer that question and put it into practice. I am going to use my unique talents to serve the needs of my fellow beings. And he says human beings, but I want to say beings because there's a lot more than humans on this planet that need to be served. So I want you guys to pull out a journal. Obviously, if you're driving or somewhere where you can't journal, just, come back to this later and journal about it then. So the first thing I want you to answer is, if money was no concern and you had all the time and the money in the world, what would you do? Hint, hint. If you would still do what you are currently doing, then you are already in your Dharma because you are passionate about what you do. If not, that's okay. This is this incredible moment of awareness that not everyone walking this planet gets to have. And you're having it right now. And right now is the beginning of where you can take whatever you write down and start to live that. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, how am I best suited to serve humanity? Okay, number 3, how can you begin to nurture that little goddess or god in your soul? How can you awaken to the deep stillness in your heart? What can you do? What actionable or non-actionable steps can you take, right? Can you begin to meditate more? Can you go out in nature more? Can you learn breath work? Can you read more books like the one I'm talking about? How can you nurture that little divine being inside of you? Okay, number 4, I want you to make a list of your unique talents. List all of the things that you love to do while expressing those talents and how you can use them in service of humanity, right? So we're kind of expanding on number 1 and number 2. And then lastly, answer the question, how can I serve? How can I help? All right. So that, my loves, is the law of Dharma. And I can't think of anything better to end the year with. I can't think of anything better to, have you guys think about as we wrap up 2021 and go into 2022. And, if you're listening to this after it comes out, maybe right after, or a few months or years, whatever. You can do this at any time, and I hope that you do. So with that, if stepping into your Dharma, if, getting connected with that tiny divine being inside of you and getting clear on your Dharma and beginning to live with purpose and intention and, just feeling that deeper connection to yourself, if that's something that you're really craving to do, I want to invite you to join me for my next Soul Spark Academy. And the next one will be starting February 1st, 2022. And it's a 3-month women's group program where I help you to basically, skip, jump, hop ahead from everything that I've learned and taught over the last 15 years of my career. I help you learn it all in 3 months so that you can get deeply, deeply connected to yourself. You can calm your nervous system. You can start to feel clear and energized and lit up from the inside out. And do that in a community of women and with my support and accountability and tools in my unique Soul Spark method. So yeah, if you want to live your Dharma out and you want support doing it, I invite you to join this container of women for 3 months from February through April 2022. And the link for that will be in the show notes. You can check it out. You can apply on the website. Once you apply, I will contact you and we will set up a connection call to connect and make sure that it feels like a good fit for you, and make sure that, the way that we communicate, right? My audio signals, like I talked about earlier, my wavelength is connecting to yours, because that's so important when we get support for moving forward in our lives. So yeah, if you feel a little spark inside from this, I really hope you click that link and you apply and that we can connect, because who knows where this could take us. So with that, we will have one more episode airing next week for 2021. And then I will see you guys in 2022. So take care of yourselves over this holiday season. Carve out intentional time for yourself to connect with that little being inside. Answer all these prompts I gave you guys today and nourish yourself, mind, body, and soul, so that you can start the next year feeling ready to have the year of you. All right. So much love, you guys. Thank you for another year together. Yep, we're past 2 years of this podcast. I don't know where the time's gone, but here we are. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending you guys lots of love. See you here next week. Namaste.